Welcome, everybody. Welcome. Camilla, Zoom user from Boston.
Chris Martin is on camera today.
What's happening?
Came in hot. I didn't realize the camera was on. Like you guys almost got like a nasal shot.
Yes, we have here Jesus. Welcome, as usual. Welcome. Mistral. Apologies if I don't have if I'm not pronouncing your name properly. Mistral, welcome.
Thank you so much. Yeah, you can call me Luther. No problem.
Luther,
Yeah.
welcome. Pleasure to meet you.
Hey, nice to meet you too. I'm just trying to put my camera. It won't be long.
No worries.
Do we have Chris joining us today, Rob, or is he otherwise busy?
I haven't heard from Chris at all, man. I don't know. I kind of get the feeling he might have forgotten about us today. I'm not sure. Honestly, I haven't heard from him in a couple of days, so I'm not sure. Hey, Coach Rachel.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. Sorry I'm late.
No worries. No, not late at all. We haven't started yet. We're going to be waiting a few more minutes before we get started. You tried reaching out to Chris at all, Brennan?
I just shot him. I'm going to shoot him a message right now on WhatsApp and see if he answers there.
Okay.
I sent him a DM, but I didn't hear back from him.
Yeah, he hasn't been very active on school lately at all.
I will say on a positive note, though, he is at 19,800 followers on his TikTok right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I saw that. Hey, Bear. How are you, man?
All right, I'm trying to figure this thing out. My default settings changed for some reason, and now I keep getting like ads every 30 seconds to a minute. And I'm trying to get that. I don't know how to get those ads from popping up. Oh shoot. Oh. Okay. Oh, sorry. I was talking.
No worries. I'm just going to put you on mute for now. I'm going to get the meeting going. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for being here. Really appreciate your time tonight. For those of you that are new here, I'm going to properly introduce myself. Hey, Allison. I'm going to properly introduce myself and introduce the call tonight. And then what we do is we're actually co-hosting this call. I'm co-hosting the call with Brennan Thompson and normally Chris Tierney, but he's not here on the call as of now. And then basically we do a little bit of a round robin where everybody kind of introduces themselves, a 30-second to 60-second introduction, who you are, where you're from, what community you're in, what business you're in. This is specifically a business call, more specifically for entrepreneurs, people that are looking to get into business. This is typically a networking call. It's not like one of our typical coaching calls where I would be coaching, speaking, or Brennan coaching and speaking. These calls are more of an exchange of ideas, a networking call where entrepreneurs get together or people that are looking to get into business get together and chit chat about business. We kind of have a subject of the week every single week to kind of get conversation going, and then we go from there. We have a few questions that we kind of ask the group, and we kind of go from there. We exchange ideas. It's really to help one another, bring different ideas, try to break different maybe some struggles in your business. If you're looking to, a certain niche towards a certain niche or whatnot. So it's really, again, an exchange of ideas. So I'm going to go ahead and introduce myself. My name is Rob. I'm a life coach. I'm a sobriety expert. I'm 6 years sober personally. I'm huge into fitness. It literally saved my life. The discipline that I've learned through sobriety and fitness, I've basically applied to all aspects of my life. I've applied it to how I go about my business, how I run my business, how I run my personal life. It's really helped change my life. I'm an entrepreneur, obviously. I've been in the life coaching business now for exactly a year. As of tomorrow, I started my school community called Pure Life Mindset. We've grown it now to over 1,200 members. It's been quite a journey so far. Now I'm looking to step my online business into an in-person events, specifically retreats. I just hosted my first in-person retreat locally last weekend, and we're looking to expand into various areas in the States. I'm from Canada, by the way, in the States, and specifically Mexico, Tulum, which will be our next live event, which is January 13th to 20th, which Brennan will be a guest speaker at one of those, at that specific event, and many more to come as well. I'm also in the Airbnb space. That is my main source of income. My wife and I run an Airbnb business now for 6 years. We have now 14 properties. We just launched a brand new property a couple days ago. And it's been an amazing business. Prior to that, we were in the restaurant business. We owned our own restaurant. That was a complete disaster. It was a very, very hard business to find some success in. I was basically working 7 days a week, 80 hours a week. It was insane. So this business has really allowed us the freedom to travel. We work mostly remotely, so it's been a great business. I also teach people how to start an Airbnb business, specifically Airbnb arbitrage. I do webinars. Every 3 months, I'm hosting my next webinar, actually this Friday. It's a 2-day webinar. If you're interested in getting into the Airbnb space, hit me up. I can definitely give you some info on how to sign up on the next webinar. So I'll go ahead and introduce my co-host for this evening, Brennan Thompson, and then we'll go from there. And I'll pick you guys one after the other, and we'll kind of introduce ourselves. Again, this is a networking call, so if you guys want to share your websites, your school communities, your socials, whatever you want to share, please share in the chat. This is a networking call, so we want to really help and support one another and build some networking here. So feel free to put that in the chat. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce my co-host, Brennan.
Well, thanks for that, Rob. Hey, everybody, I'm Brennan Thompson. I'm 30-year career in corporate, anywhere from finance to sales and marketing, to my most recent and last corporate job was global corporate risk management. And I worked for a large global company, and I was in charge of all the risk management for their events around the world, events of 20,000 plus people. About 2 years ago, I left that job with not really having a plan B, but the reason being is I was 55, I guess, when I left. Yeah, 55, and made a lot of money, but wasn't really satisfied with my life. And the more people I talked to that were sort of in my boat around my age and climbed the corporate ladder, did all the things they were supposed to do as good boys and girls, realized that they were unfulfilled with life. And I wanted to change that. So I'd always been an entrepreneur, even throughout my corporate career. I've been a coach for going on, I guess, 11 years now. I am a certified coach with the John Maxwell team. So certified coach, speaker, and trainer. I guess my primary income would be through business consulting. My secondary income would be through giving corporate talks and being on corporate stages as a speaker. Looking forward to working with Rob in his upcoming retreat in Tulum. And I've been on school for 4 months now. I now have 2 communities. The first one is Recreate, and we launched Recreate in April, and we quickly got that one in our first 40 days to page 1 in the money category, and grew that to about 400 members as of right now. We just recently turned that community from a free community to a paid community. And in the midst of launching our business academy, which is going to be inside of Recreate, I got this crazy idea because somebody made a post and I had to answer it. And I created a brand new community. Basically, I think that the idea came to me on July 18th. By July 21st, I had the community started. And here we are 2 weeks later, and that community is now, as of right this moment, number 6 in its category, with about 47 members. I say all this not to impress you, but to impress upon you this idea. If you want to start a community, you don't have to have hundreds and thousands of members. All right, we got to page 1 with Recreate. Interruption real quick, by the way. Chris Tierney says he cannot join us, Rob. We got to page 1 in Recreate with, I want to say, about 80 members at the time. And we got to page 1 in 1 week's time on this new community called the Huru Crew. We got there in a week and we had maybe 40 members. And so I think my special sauce, my differentiator, if you will, is understanding the psychology of engagement. And it doesn't take a lot. It just takes a specific know-how. And so the second community that we have is really going to exploit that idea, because I think a lot of people on school, and we see a lot of people giving up because it's not easy. Let's see, we got Rachel's a community owner, Allison's a community owner, Rob's obviously a community owner. I think that's it right now. Chris Martins is a community admin, so he knows the game. It's a full-time job. It takes a lot of work. And I see too many people not having fun. And as a matter of fact, we can thank Coach Rob for that. Coach Rob, you posted something a couple weeks ago asking the question, are you having fun? And I think my honest answer that day was, nah, I'm not. And I changed that. Well, I'm changing that. I'm having more fun now, but Rodolfo just joined. Rodolfo is a 2-time community owner himself, so he knows the work it takes to do this. And so my mission is kind of transitioning from my business coaching and consulting, which I've been doing, and I'm going to find a way to just focus on school. I'm going to, I think before maybe I was 60% in, 70% in. I think I'm now about a 99% in. And so that's my story. I'm glad to have you guys all here. And I turn it back over to you, Rob. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Level 7, Rodolfo just joined. Way to go,
got it?
brother. You did it.
Yeah, thank you, everyone.
Congrats.
Good stuff. Good stuff. I'm so happy for you, man. Congratulations. That was unbelievable. So let's start with you then, Rodolfo. Let's start with introducing yourself if you're ready to.
Yeah, no problem. Just that I'm driving, I can be talking while I'm doing it. So, hello everyone. My name is Rodolfo. So, many of you already know me. I'm a business owner from Mexico, and I own two communities, one in Spanish and one in English, where I teach people about personal finances and also about business and how to run like marketing and social media now. So anything that I can help you guys with that, I'm here. You just send a message to me. And I started in school back in, I think it was in August of last year. So I'm almost in a year now, and well, that's me. So anything you can ask, I'm here to help. Thank you. Thank you everyone for the big push for getting to level 7. It was amazing.
Yes,
So thank you
sir.
all.
Yes,
Thank you
sir.
all.
Well deserved, my friend. Thank you so much. Remind
Rob.
everybody the name of your community.
So, okay, I have two communities. The one in Spanish is called Mentalidad Millonaria, and the one in English is called the Millionaire's Mindset, VIP. But that's only invite only. So,
Okay,
that's the
got
way
you.
we're keeping it now.
Awesome, awesome. Thanks, Rodolfo.
Rob, before you move on,
Yeah,
correct me
thank
if
you,
I'm
everyone.
wrong.
Sorry?
Rodolfo got what, about 740 points in the last day and a half or something? Is that what it
Yeah,
was?
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it was like that.
You killed it.
I,
You killed
I,
it.
I posted like I need to get to level 7. So please ask any question, and everyone like responded, and it was so fun.
Mhm.
Awesome.
The
Good job, man.
the art of community. What community can do. Absolutely, great stuff. Allison, are you ready to introduce yourself?
I had to unmute myself. Sorry about that.
No worries.
My name is Allison, and Rodolfo, congratulations! I'm so happy for you.
Thank you. Yeah, son.
Coach put all of us to work like crazy. It was fun though. Um, I have my community. It's published with Allison, and like I say on there, it started out as a place for my writers to meet up. Most of the writers I work with are inspirational writers because I love inspirational stories. Um, I ran across a lot of people who just didn't know they had a book that they want to get out there, they just didn't know how to do it. So that's what we do. We help them write and publish their book. My community is just another way to help encourage people. We help people write and help publish their book, but really it's all about encouraging. Like I say, the inspirational stories and stuff. So that's my community is all about. It's
Mhm.
all about encouragement, and I love what I do, and that's what I want to do full time. Just encourage people.
Awesome, awesome. So tell us a little bit more about your publishing business.
Um, I used to tell people we take them from a manuscript to a completed book, but I had to change that because I had more and more people who were just coming to me with an idea. So there sometimes we will take the handwritten material, get it transcribed, help get their book done. But like I said, sometimes, and then there's some people who do have like a double space Word document that's ready to go. We just take it, do the layout, formatting, design. We have the cover design done, everything, from start to finish. But also there are those who do just have their idea. It's in their head. They hadn't put anything on paper. So we will interview them. Either one of the editors or I will interview them, get their information, help them get it down. Some cases we even do the typing for them. Just take those voice recordings. I take notes because I remember one lady years ago, probably about 8 or 10 years ago, we just did interviews, and we talked on the phone, then we met in person a couple times, and I just took notes. And then I took all the information she gave me, put it in type form, and we got her book done, and she was very pleased with it. I know Brennan and Shannon have a copy of my book because I finally stopped long enough to do my own book, which is False Starts, Fumbles, and Bad Calls. They don't just happen in football. And I God gave me an idea for that book over 10 years ago. And I was just so busy helping other people get their books done, helping tell their stories, that I didn't stop and get mine done until this year. But it's out there now. So now I'm just back to helping more people get their stories told.
Amazing stuff, Allison. So both you and
Thank
your
you, thank
husband have your books published now.
Yeah, his book was the first one that we did. And the way that came about, Rob, Matthew was a very successful Alabama State Trooper for 18 years. And he was on the captain's list, ready for another promotion, but he ended up losing it all because of a gambling addiction. You know, he ended up resigning from his career, and we ended up doing a book about that. And the subtitle is Marine, Guardian, Trooper, Convict, and Messenger. And it just kind of walks through each of those stages. He was a Marine when he was 18. His dad was killed while he was at summer camp. When he was 18 years old, and he came home. They buried his dad on his 19th birthday, and he took on the responsibility of raising his 4 sisters. So when we married, it was the day after I turned 20, and we took on the responsibility of finish raising those girls. And he went to the Trooper Academy that same year, a couple months after his dad died. And like I said, very successful career, but he got a gambling addiction. It destroyed us. We lost everything, more than once. But we came back, you know, still recovering from it, because it really, like I said, we had a lot of legal and financial stuff that we're still dealing with. And that's where the title of his book came from. Proverbs 4:27 used to be my screensaver at one point. It was "Don't Get Sidetracked." And that's the title of his book. When he came out of prison, he had these little scraps of paper where he had written that book out. And we gave it to a girl I had done a couple of editing jobs for. She wasn't moving as quickly as he wanted, because he wanted to go ahead and quickly get it done. So I took it. You know, he told me, he said, y'all can do this thing. So my daughter did the cover. I did the interior. We put that book together. And then he got it and just started going, talking to young people, because that was his main focus. You know, helping young people make better choices and decisions, and just do their best not to get sidetracked. And my book touches on the story just a little bit, but I don't go in a whole lot of detail, because mine is, the primary focus of it is helping people realize all of us are going to make bad calls. You know, we're going to make bad decisions, and we're going to mess up. You know, we'll be making mistakes until we die, because we're imperfect people. So that's the whole idea. It's just reminding everybody, you can always come back from it. I know Luis's Lionel, is that how you pronounce your name? You know, he was talking about coming back. You know, I remember reading that in one of his comments, you know, I'm going to come back. And I know his dad has raised him that way, to know that you can always come back. So that's the main message of my book. You know, I didn't mean to take up so much of the house time, but Coach asked me, so I had to tell you.
Amazing story. I love to hear the story.
I'm literally an open book, y'all. Whatever you want to know about me, ask me. I'm willing to tell you.
That's all we love about you, Allison. Absolutely.
Thank
Great
you.
story. Great story of resilience. Great comeback story. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah, great stuff. Thank you, Allison. I appreciate you.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Camilla. You there, Camilla?
Hello.
Hey, Camilla.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm Camila. I'm 19 years old. I'm about to enter my second year of college, and I'm currently studying for business administration.
So what are you working on right now? You're working at you're working at finishing your second year?
No, I'm about to enter. I just finished my freshman year.
Okay. Okay. Very nice. Very nice. What else are you working on these days?
Well, not that much. Just focus on school at the moment.
Okay. Good stuff. Thanks for introducing yourself, and thank you for always being here. We appreciate you. Coach Rachel?
I am so glad that I'm here. Sorry, I think I missed last week, so I'm glad to be back. So I am a plant-based personal trainer. I work mainly with women over the age of 40 to help them fall in love with their bodies again. And I use joy as a strategy. So I'm all about sprinkling the joy. We talk a lot about like nutrition, exercise, also about resting. So pauses, meditation, all of those things. But yeah, glad to be here. Glad to be here.
Stuff. I know
And
sobriety is a
love being
huge
a part of all of your
your
groups.
story
So,
as well.
pardon?
I said, I know sobriety is a huge part of your story as well.
And sobriety is a part of my story as well. So I think that is, yes, an important part that I probably need to lean into even a little stronger because I'm, I should follow your lead, Rob, and other people too. But yeah, sobriety is a huge part of my story. So
Good stuff. Thanks,
Yeah.
Rachel. Appreciate you. Thank you for
Yeah.
being here.
You're welcome.
Luther.
Hi, everyone. My name is Luther Joseph. I'm from Montreal, Canada. Honestly, I have a long story. So I just want to say I connected a lot with Brennan from what Brennan said earlier. Actually, my partner works with an American company that has a big contract with waste management. So I know a lot about waste management. I've been hearing a lot about it. My background, I worked exactly like Brendan said. I worked my whole life for a big company, telecommunication company. So I was a senior facilitator. I was a presenter. I was a coach, which I'm on the verge of finishing my PCC right now.
I think you just hit mute.
Sorry?
You were on mute for a second. You're back now. All good.
Okay, sorry. So I'm on the verge of getting my PCC done. So I should be done in December. So I kind of like Brendan, I decided to quit the corporate world last year. I have two beautiful daughters that, for me, I wanted to be an example for them. And kind of realized that, unfortunately, as a neurodivergent person, the corporate world it wasn't good for me. I decided to become an entrepreneur and kind of put all my energy into coaching. But in the meantime, what I did is that I started a printing company. So I do any custom made stuff like from shirts to, I would say mugs, anything you can think of, I can have it done for you. So yeah, that's pretty much my background. And I got a message from someone on LinkedIn saying, "Hey, connect to this call." I've been trying to connect for the last month, but with the busy schedule with the daughters, I wasn't able to. But today I'm glad I was able to join and hearing all the beautiful, great stories everyone has so far. It's very inspiring. So hopefully, I can join in and start doing the same thing. I guess I don't know. I kind of overheard everyone talking about school. I'm kind of looking into it. I've heard about it before. So yeah, I'm just here and just learning. I'm just a person that loves to learn. I'm grasping and learning from all of you. So whatever you guys can share, I'm there to learn. And hey, it's a risky journey for me right now, to be quite honest, but I'm super positive and enthusiastic about it. So yeah. That's me in a
Good
nutshell.
stuff. Good for you, man. Yeah,
you.
risky. That's the name of the game when you're an entrepreneur, right? It's all about being willing to take those risks. So it's not for everybody,
No.
but it takes a ton of courage, and good for you for putting yourself out there and trying different things, man. So what kind of coaching are you looking to get into?
Like because of the fact that like right now I'm getting my PCC just because I was always in the corporate world. Like I'm always like, coach like all the managers, vice presidents of companies and stuff like that. But in reality, what really touches me is to help people in general. So I would say life coaching would definitely be I see myself more in a life coach. Yeah.
Okay, good stuff. Good stuff. So I would highly suggest starting a community, or at the very least, joining school and
Okay.
joining our communities. You could start from there and see if
Okay.
you like it, because it's a great platform if you're getting into life coaching. The community aspect of it is unbelievable. There's a ton of opportunities. You meet a ton of great people. For example, I started my community a year ago. I've grown it to 1,200 members. And it's completely different
Nice.
from any other type of social media platform where you really build some solid connections. You know, we have members from 35 different countries, and on any given call, we'll have people from the Philippines, people from Australia, from the States, from Mexico. Really building some nice connections, and the
Okay.
networking opportunities are unbelievable. They're unmatched compared to, you know, other social media platforms. It's not necessarily a social media platform. It's really a community based platform. So I highly suggest jumping in on school and trying out. You could join my community, Brennan's community. Amazing stuff. And it's probably me that reached out to you on LinkedIn. Yeah, because I'm also from
Oh,
Montreal,
yeah.
by the way.
Okay, yeah. Robert.
Yeah. So
Okay.
it is probably from me. So yeah, no, good stuff. Thank you for being here, man. I really
I
appreciate you
appreciate.
being here, man.
Thank you
And
so much for
anything
having
that
me.
we can do to help, anything at all, please feel free.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Philip.
Absolutely. Good evening, everybody. My name is Philip Aguamanem. I'm in Houston, Texas. Yeah, kind of some of the same things that Brennan said and that Luther said as well definitely resonated with me. I spent most of my career in corporate, worked for a couple Fortune 500 companies, have background in operations and leadership development. In 2024, I found out that I was going to be a first-time father. Didn't want to miss out on the milestones. I had my first daughter. And so I decided to leave the corporate world and to go out and jump into my business full time. My company's name is Elevation Consulting and Development. And so what we do is we help overwhelmed founders and business owners implement strategic operational systems. So our goal is to help them drive revenue, increase profitability, and strengthen their leadership, whether it's them specifically or their leadership team. And the goal is to accomplish this without burning out. And so those systems that we put in place, they help create clarity, improve execution, and most importantly, free up time. That way you can focus on the things that actually move the needle. Like I said, this is my second call. Definitely enjoying my experience so far with school. Like I said, I had taken a complete break from social media for a minute, but like I said, it's all about being in the right community with the right folks. And so, like I said, that's a little bit about me.
Great stuff. Thanks, Philip. I love the stories of leaving the corporate world and starting your own business. I love that kind of stuff. I love hearing that. Good
Absolutely.
stuff. Good stuff. Good stuff. Thank you, man. Tammy.
Hi everybody, how you doing?
Hey, Tammy.
Good. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. So I just celebrated my first year of retirement on my birthday. Um it's still taking me some time to get used to it, especially my sleep pattern, because I don't know when to go to bed. I'm up all the time, so the night and everything. But so I started my credit repair business. I started a year before I retired, but I actually just got into it full time. I have a passion, a very good high passion for helping people with their credit. I just want to educate people on their credit. It's just so many tiny steps that we don't know. And I'm using myself as an example that I didn't know that I wish I'd have known years ago. It's not too young to train people, to teach people. I actually want to start with elementary school kids, teaching them the importance of credit and how they can take control of their finances as they continue to grow, especially in colleges. Being a college student, they're really in a great position as far as credit, but they don't realize that with the student loans. Actually, having student loans can help build your credit and your profile, because really that's the oldest installment that you're going to have as long as it's current. And I just love doing that. I love being in the communities that I'm in. met some wonderful people, all you guys and everything. And I love, love, love engagement. I love to engage.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, I
We
do.
really appreciate it too.
Yeah,
We
so
really
thank you guys.
appreciate it. So let me ask you one question about the whole credit thing. What is one thing that you would say is like the most misunderstood thing about credit generally?
I think a lot of people are embarrassed about their scores and everything. And I coach my clients, don't be, it's fixable. You know,
Mhm.
life happens and it's fixable. It doesn't matter where you are, it's fixable. Like I've had clients that was in their low 400s. They're actually living in their brand new homes now. So it's fixable. You just need to know what to do, the tools and the direction to go in. So if you're not educated about it, you won't know and you just let it sit there.
The thing is you can't just let it sit there, and you can address it.
Right,
Yeah, yeah.
right. You can.
It's all fixable. Absolutely. Did you
Mhm.
share your website in the chat?
I did.
Okay,
I did.
awesome.
Tap Building Solutions. I did.
Great stuff. Great stuff. Thank you, Tammy. I really appreciate you as always.
All right. Thank you.
Mr. Zoom user, Chris Martin.
What's going on, everybody? This is Christopher from Boston. You might know me as your favorite community giraffe. So on School, I rock my giraffe NFT. So if anyone is interested in talking crypto, always happy to do that. I am also a big professional wrestling fan, so always glad to have those conversations. Outside of that, I consider myself a School power user. So in Rob's community, in Brennan's community, in Mr. Tierney's community, and a whole bunch of others. So I think it's a great platform. I guess what I'll probably close with, just because, I know you guys have a lot of content going on. I'm kind of curious. Alex Ramosi is launching, I think, a book. I think he's doing a book release on the 16th. So I'm curious if you guys have seen more activity from Alex and if you think he's going to be dropping the School community. And the easiest way to usually connect with me is LinkedIn. So at some point, I'll see if I can get my tech to work, and I'll drop my LinkedIn in the chat. But appreciate you guys. And yeah, if you have any thoughts on Alex, love to hear that. Unless it messes up the flow, because I can DM you guys. And Rob, I still need to sign up for your Airbnb webinar. I will do that. I'm not my best on Friday nights, but I'm going to give it the old college try, and we'll listen to the recording on Saturday because I think I'll be out of pocket, but I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, sounds good, brother. It won't be. It'll be definitely worth it. It'll be worth the effort, guaranteed, brother. I appreciate you, man. And no, I don't have any insight on Alex. I don't know if Brennan does. I know he's launching his book, but I don't know much more about that.
Yeah, I don't know if he has plans for his own community. He's really active as an investor, more so than you see other investors that are, as big as he is in a platform. What was interesting was on the last, every Tuesday they do the school news where it's usually Sam and Kirby who are sitting in the LA office, and they give the updates coming up on school. Last Tuesday, instead of doing the school news, they posted a recording of the Q2 school events, because they have the what's it called, the school games, where the top people of each category get to go to the LA office and have sort of a briefing. So they posted that recording, and they did it a little bit differently for this particular one, where it was just Sam and Hermosi on stage, just having a back and forth conversation about the industry, content creators in general, school specifically. A lot of some of the top performers on school, like Evelyn Weiss. She had some questions that were discussed, and the current, at least at the time, the current GOAT. So for those of you who don't know, they have the different icons that you get for depending on how much monthly recurring revenue you get. and it's, either the Rocket's at 10,000, the Crown I think is at 30,000. I can't remember what the diamond is. Maybe it's 100,000. And then they have one for the GOAT, and it's the highest monthly earner on the platform, and it's a guy named Nick Sariev who has two communities. They're both AI communities, AI tools, and he was currently at $330,000 per month in monthly recurring revenue. So he's just absolutely
crazy.
knocking out of the park. But the really cool thing about Nick is that he currently now has like 160,000 followers on YouTube. But when he started on School, he only had a couple thousand. And he doesn't do funnels. He doesn't do any of that crap. He basically does his YouTube videos and then drives them straight to a school.
Mm-hmm.
And guys, with two communities and $300,000 between them, he's a one-man shop. He has no team. It's only him managing this. And so if my message before about you don't need a lot of people to be successful in School, if that didn't resonate, you don't even need a big team either. Nick is proof of that. So, but Chris, yeah, I don't know. I think Alex is very focused on what he's doing with his book, the money levels, or I think it's called Money Something, Money Levels. I know that's a big driving part between the soon-to-be subscription courses inside of our communities, and I know Hormozi has been pushing Sam to get that done. So, as far as investors go and big time influencers, I don't care if he never has a School community. I think he's doing a pretty good job for all of us who do have communities. So that's my 2 cents.
Absolutely. Great stuff. Great stuff. Very exciting
so
stuff.
guys, can I add something over there?
Yeah, go ahead, Rodolfo. Sorry, man.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Alex Hormozi. His books are awesome. I was doing the stuff he was telling over there and following it by the rule, and I got really good results. So I'm really happy with that. So I already pre-ordered the new book. It's called Money Models. And for anyone that has not read the books, the first one is called 100 Million Offers, and the second one is called 100 Million Leads. Well, in his Spotify channel, he has the audiobooks for free.
Really?
So if you want to read the books, you can just go there, and it's by chapter. He has it over there. Maybe I can post a link later on today so that you can hop in and start listening to it. They are so interesting books.
Good stuff. I didn't know that. That's really great. That's awesome. I'll definitely be checking that out for sure. Thanks, Rodolfo. Last but not least, Mr. Lionel.
Hello.
How are you, man?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. My name is Lionel. I am about to be 13 years old very soon. I like acting. I like going to the gym. Especially I like my dad. I love my dad. He's a very excellent man. He's very resilient. All that. I love the community. The community is very loving, very caring. Yeah.
Good stuff, Lionel. I appreciate you being here and being so engaging within the community. You've been inspiring all of us with your daily gym routines. Unbelievable stuff, unbelievable consistency, especially for a 13-year-old man. You keep it up. You're sky's the limit for you, man. I really appreciate you. Good stuff. Proud of you. So let's get some conversation going, shall we? So, as mentioned earlier, we kind of have a subject of the week, and we have some questions that Brennan and I have prepared for the group that we're going to throw out there, and we kind of just exchange ideas. So this week's subject is challenges, bottlenecks, and problem solving. So my question to the group today is, what's one bottleneck in your business right now, and how are you approaching it? Obviously, in business, we all have different issues. We kind of all hit little bumps in the roads. We hit bottlenecks. We hit different situations where we kind of hit, a wall. And I want to know from you guys, what are you experiencing right now, if at all, hitting any type of bottlenecks, or you've hit bottlenecks in the past that you'd like to share with the group? Would anybody like to start the party?
I will. I'll start. With my business, when I started out and everything, it's like I was offering free consultations, right? And so when I did that, I found that it was a lot of clients that were signing up and scheduling consultations, but they weren't following up with them. They weren't going through with them. There were no shows, even when I reached out to them and everything. So I changed to a paying consultation. And it seems like once I started charging, the customers and clients just come out of the woodworks. It's like I thought maybe that would just hinder, you know, me building my business with clients, but it seems like they just came in with the floodgates. It to me, it eliminated the ones that were wasting my time. It took on the ones that were serious about the credit, and a lot of them were future homeowners. So that was a good choice and step that I made that I was kind of afraid to do, because it's like when you want to charge for everything, that just scare your customers and clients away. But it did the complete opposite. It just brought more clients in.
Yeah, that's a great point. When we're first starting in business, we're kind of like, we're afraid to charge. We want to kind of give everything for free with kind of hopes of bringing them in and then kind of upselling them with different things. And we're just reluctant to know our worth and say, well, this is my time is worth so much, and if you want to have my time, it's worth this much, and that's it, right? So we're kind of reluctant, that especially in the beginning. I'm definitely in that boat, as being a new life coach. You want to get people into these programs and whatnot, so you kind of want to give everything for free, but you realize that by doing that, you don't get people that are actually serious buyers,
right?
And they don't commit because they haven't put their money on the table, right? So they say they I have onboarding calls all the time with my school community. People jump on these onboarding calls, they're completely free. I get on the onboarding call when they're supposed to be there, no shows. It happens all the time. I mean, so that mindset shift of saying, listen, if you want my time, it's valuable. This is what it is. There's no wasting time here. And good for you for doing that, and having the confidence to put your foot down on that. And you see how it shifted your business positively by doing that. So yeah, no, it's good, and it's not always an easy thing to do, but I think it's a necessary thing to do. So good for you.
Thank you. It's like it brought the serious clients in. It's like I know my worth and I know what I brought to the table. So you was gonna get good results either way it went, whether you paid or it was free. But now it just attracts the serious clients to me.
Yeah, we're often, if we're not offering for free, we're offering at a very low ticket, and even offering at a very low ticket might not actually be the good thing to do as well, because you're not getting the serious buyers. Don't be afraid to charge what your time is worth. If you think that your time is worth so much, charge that and you'll get those clients. You're not there to for fun. You're building a business, and your time is worth something. So good for you.
Thank you.
Anybody else like to share?
Yeah, Coach, I'd like to piggyback on what Tammy was saying, and Brennan is the one who really helped open my eyes to that. Tammy, what you did was you added value, because a lot of times when people don't have something invested, they don't value it. If it's something for free, in their mind, it's just cheap. And so that changed, and Brennan, like I said, he's one who helped really shift my mindset, because Coach, when you and I had our one-on-one, you were just kept stressing to me about delegate. Well, one of the reasons that I got myself in a position of not really delegating and handling so much of what I was doing myself was I was just adamant about offering a payment plan to my writers, because I know a lot of people just don't have the money set aside to pay to get their book done. But Brennan was saying that, you know, he had seen my work and he knows it's worth what I'm asking. And there are people who will pay for it without me having to work myself to death trying to do it all myself, because they're on a payment plan and I can't really pay the people I need to bring on board to help. So that shifted and things have kind of gone in a different direction. And I do appreciate it. So I was getting, you know, that's what my bottleneck was. You know, just being left to try to do it all myself because I was making it so convenient for the writer. And just
I think it's a common bottleneck that we all have in the online space. You know, we kind of all have that struggle where, okay, when do we shift our business where, okay, now we're going to be charging some serious dollars for our time, right? I think we all go through that. The good news with an online business is that we have the outreach is limitless, right? So we will find the people that are willing to pay for what we're charging. There's 7 billion people that we could potentially reach out there. We don't need 7 billion customers. We potentially might only need 10 or 15 or 20 or 100, whatever it is, depending on what you're offering. So don't be afraid to charge what you think your offering is worth, and you'll find your 10 or 15 customers out there. Just go out there and find them. That's it, you know? And again, with the outreach, the potential of it today, I don't want to say it's easy because it's definitely not, but it's never been easier than today. That's for sure, right? So don't be afraid to charge what you're worth, and you'll find the people that are willing to pay that for that offering. 100%.
Let's add a little structure around that too, because you know, it's a number. It's not, when I say it's a numbers game, I don't mean it's a numbers game like you just keep trying, like we talked about in sales. I mean, it's a numbers game. The language of business is accounting, nothing else. Always has been, always will be. And so, like what you mentioned there, Coach, was this idea of us in the online space and this charging thing. And one of the biggest reasons we have that is because most people don't have a pricing strategy. The question, if you're approaching the question of price from the standpoint of what do I think my time is worth, you're probably going about it the wrong way, which is why you don't have a number, right? You can't figure that out. That there's not an answer to that question unless you're an attorney who normally bills out at $300, $500 an hour. So there's not an answer to that question. And instead, your pricing needs to be tied to something. And so like when we talk, you mentioned like low ticket. And is low ticket the right thing, the wrong thing? Well, it depends. Where does your low ticket offer fit into a pricing strategy? You know, everything has to be based on a strategy. And so like the question is about bottlenecks, and this isn't really bottlenecks, but let me turn it into the bottleneck. The bottleneck that most online people have is the thought process of pricing. They get stuck in it. And I'll tell you why they get stuck in it. If you were a butcher, a baker, a candlestick maker out there in the real world, and you had a brick and mortar store, and your brick and mortar store had costs, real costs, right? In the online space, especially if you're a coach, you're probably working at 85% margins, probably. You should be maybe closer to 90 because we don't have a ton of costs as online people. But if you got to pay rent to a space, you got to have machinery, you got to have parts and stuff that come in to make the widgets that you make. You come up with a price real quick, and it's not based on what you think it's worth. It's based upon what the hell you got to pay in order to make that thing. It's a real cost. It's a hard cost. And the problem that most people have in the online space is, number one, most people in the online space never owned a business before. So it's their first time coming into it. Number two, they think it's a bunch of influencer marketing where, you know, all they got to do is do a little dance on TikTok. And there you go, Rachel, you got that, yeah. And next thing you know, you got 100,000 followers, and they're all buying your crap. But that's not the real part of it. most of the influencers are highly sponsored by huge corporations. You know, there was a guy that was online and he was selling some kind of a affiliate marketing or something program. I don't know. It turns out this guy was a genius. This guy owned like 20 or 30 or 50 Instagram accounts that were all young women doing the dancing, doing the whatever. He owned those accounts and they were just simply affiliate his link.
Mm-hmm.
And then to make it even worse, it wasn't even him. It was a very major company that was doing the whole thing. So bottom line is have a strategy, have a pricing strategy in place. It's gonna make you feel better. And kind of, I'll just close up this part with what Allison was talking about. And when we were talking about kind of having her look at what she was doing with her clients. We all, especially in this space, we love our people. So we go out of our way to do good things for them, right? But you have to ask yourself this question. When you start discounting, when you start knocking, costs off or offering, it's a 6-month thing, but I'm going to let you pay it in 12 payments, whatever. Do you have a client or are you trying to make a client? You're trying to make somebody who isn't your client into your client. And so all of that thought process is a bottleneck, and you got to get past it. Wallace is my guy for this week that I'm quoting, the author of the book, The Science of Getting Rich, from back in 1910, I think is when he wrote it. He has a quote that is, just make sure, always give more in use value than you receive in cash value. So in today's English, just give more than what you're asking for. If you're asking for $10, give them $12 worth of stuff. And just make sure it fits into your pricing strategy.
Yeah, good stuff. The whole thing of brick and mortar really resonates with me. Obviously, being in the restaurant business, I had to know exactly how to charge my dishes, how much each dish would cost. I had to know by the gram how much I was putting into every single recipe. It's a whole art of trying to figure out what a plate costs and how much you should charge and how much the staff costs and how much the rent costs and this and that and the other. The restaurant business is extremely challenging when it comes to that, because if you're not on the ball 24/7, and the loss is incredibly, quick. If you're not selling those plates, if you're not getting rid of that food, it's going straight in the garbage, and that's just money going straight in the garbage. And it could go real fast in the restaurant business. So you have to be really, really on point with that. And being in the Airbnb business is a little bit different, obviously, but I have, fixed costs. Obviously, I have rent, I have cleaning teams, I have, handyman, I have all, supplies, all of this that I have to account for. So I need to know what my margins are. I need to know how much I need to make every single month to be profitable. So it completely makes sense what you're saying. Being in the online spaces, you kind of just you're no man's land. You don't know what to charge. You're you're just figuring out, well, maybe I'll just charge this. I'll charge that. I'll try different pricing, see what happens. You have no strategy whatsoever. You're just kind of throwing darts on the wall, right? Trying to figure out what will bite. Should I charge 5,000 for a session? Should I charge $50? Who knows? I have no idea, right? So you gotta have some sort of strategy. You gotta have some sort of consistency. So it's a business like any other business, right? But like you said, there's no real operational costs, right? So it's kind of hard to figure that out, but you definitely need to have a strategy to your business like any other business.
For sure.
Anybody else would like to share on that?
Yeah, so I'm very stunned by the great stuff you guys just mentioned right now, because I had a huge issue with that myself. because I never realized like jumping into the printing business, it's a huge cost. As you can see in my back, like I have a bunch of stuff that I have to use, and it cost a lot of money. So what I did basically on that is that I actually used AI. So I actually shared all my receipts, shared all the products that I offer to customers, and I was able to kind of get like a great, let's say, I'm losing my train of thought right now, but like I
Little
kind
breakdown.
of, yeah, a good breakdown of, how much I should charge my customers. And
Mhm.
I have to say, when I got the breakdown, I kind of got scared because it put me in a position where I was like, oh my God, uh, am I gonna be willing to charge people that much? Is it? But I also had to think about the time that I invested into this.
Mhm.
Having contracts, like I had a contract with a daycare where they asked me for 150, let's say, tote bags. That took me like 3 days. I need to charge them for those 3 days. So I had to really take a step back and really put myself in a position where I'm like, I deserve this. And I remember when I reached out to the company and say, hey, this is my price, right away, they're like, okay, no problem. And I was so shocked. So I kind of had the same reaction as Tammy, where I realized like, okay, if I charge cheap prices, people are not gonna come to me. And if I really take time to break down everything, even through the receipt, I walk them through what I'm charging them for, and that really brought me to a different mind space. And I think for me, that was a huge learning curve, very scary. But at the same time, I really appreciate everything that you guys shared because that was a huge struggle for me. But my big bottleneck right now is putting myself out there. I'm proud of myself for just being on the call because I'm an introvert person. I'm really shy. Even though my job was to always do trainings in front of people, my anxiety was always up to the roof when I had to do that. But I did it for 20 years. So today I decided to put myself out there. And Rob, I want to thank you for extending the invite to me. But yeah, putting myself out there. Even Rachel asked me like, "What's the name of your company?" Send me the website. Like, I was a bit hesitant because I'm ashamed. I'm not really sure if what people are going to say about the website or like I'm just afraid. I don't even know how to put myself out there, and anything that has to do with social media is something I'm struggling a lot. Uh, and I think like, the goal of, yeah, you could have all the best products, all the best website, everything. But if you don't put yourself out there and you don't get customers coming to you, then your business is gonna fail, right? And that's
Mhm.
where I am right now. Yeah.
Absolutely. Great share. By the way, you say you don't know how to put yourself out there, but you are putting yourself out there.
Yeah.
You are doing it right now. So good for you, man. Good for
Yeah.
you. Good
I
for you.
appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah. No, I hear you. I hear you. I mean, talk about introvert. I'm also an introvert. I know Brennan is also an introvert as well. It's not something that comes naturally to us to put ourselves out there, but we know that it's necessary if we want to have success, right? So it's definitely a challenge, but just, you showing up to this call today says a lot that you want it. You know what I mean? That's the most important thing. You want it and you're gonna figure it out, right? It's all about stepping out of the comfort zone and opening up those doors and eventually the right door will open up to you, man. So no, but to go back to the cost thing. I mean, I think that to go back to what Brennan said is just bring more value, instead of coming from the perspective of I'm going to charge cheaper than the others. I'll charge just as much as everybody else, maybe more, but I'll provide 10, that much more, 10 times more value for the same cost. I'll bring that customer service. I'll bring that attention. That special attention that people want. I'll show up, for my customers more than the competition. So don't come in as being cheaper. Come in as bringing more value. You know what I mean? I think that strategy will work out a lot more than coming from the tiptoeing in and saying, well, I'm gonna try to be cheaper than everybody else. Meanwhile, you're not making any money. You know what I mean? You're just operating at a negative, and that's gonna only last you so long, obviously, right? And your customer service is going to be affected by that, because you're not going to be in a position to offer, you know, all of the right services, because you're going to be, operating at a negative, right? So I think that the strategy of just bringing more value to the table than the competition is a much more of a better strategy, I think.
I just wanted to I just wanted to give I just wanted to give Luther some encouragement, because one of the things he mentioned, he said, I know you said that, I think it was Coach Rachel asked for your website, and you were like a little bit ashamed. And so in the chat, that's why I asked that question. Are you familiar with the company Berkshire
Yeah, I was about to
Hathaway and
answer.
Warren Buffett?
Yeah.
And so this is something that I always point out to folks is we always think we have to have this big, beautiful, just amazing website, right? It has all the videos, all the high tech things you hear about on YouTube and tech and all that. I just wanted you to pull up Berkshire Hathaway's website. I mean, this is a website for, again, Warren Buffett, investor, Berkshire Hathaway, company that, owns and has all these major companies in their in their portfolio. And I just dropped the link in the chat just in case you didn't have it handy. I just want you to pull up and take a look at their website.
Okay,
And
thank you.
it's not to bag on them or anything, right? But I look at this and I see all the websites that we typically create. This website, it literally just fits the function of what they have, right? They have the links that you can click to get information on that topic, and that's it. There's no commanding video, no amazing colors or anything like that jumping out. So if he can make that, and again, that company has notoriety, but if they can make that work for them, like I said, you don't have to be ashamed of what you have. If you feel like you need to make a change, go ahead and do a little bit at a time, a little bit here, a little bit there, stack those wins over time. But you don't have to be embarrassed of where you are. Where you are is fine. Just try and get better every single day. That's it.
Oh my God, I don't know what to say. I appreciate that. Thank you so much, Philip. Like, that means a lot. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Good stuff, guys. Anybody else would like to add on to that? For me, I mean, in terms of the websites also, I mean, I was also kind of in the same situation as Luther, trying to figure out the most beautiful website, charging, these website companies charging ridiculous amounts to come up with a website. Meanwhile, you could really make your own website within a day. And often what works the most nowadays is not even a website, it's just a landing page. You know what I mean? It's just a call to action. I'm in the Airbnb space, right? So I'm looking right now at different Airbnbs in other countries right now, specifically Costa Rica. And I saw this guy on TikTok. He's a real estate agent he's from Toronto. He moved to Costa Rica, and he basically sells properties in Costa Rica. And he has a link on his TikTok. I clicked on the link, and it's just a landing page. Book a call with me. That's it. It was just one button. Book a call with me. I book a call. Literally 5 minutes later, the guy's calling me from Costa Rica. That's what impressed me. Not the website, none of the fluff, whatever. It's just the fact that he picked up the phone immediately and called me from Costa Rica. The customer service was off the hook. He answered all of my questions, for free. And now I have a contact in Costa Rica. And next time I'm in Costa Rica, probably this winter, I'll be hooking up with him, no doubt about it. But it's not the website, it's not none of the fluff, nothing. It was the customer service that was on point, and the fact that he was so quick to respond, that made the whole difference for me.
Well said. Okay. Yeah, I like that. It's a great idea as well. Yeah.
When I kind of first jumped back into my business full time, one of the things that I guess bottlenecks for me that really got me was listening to, all the guru talk, all the people on the podcast and comparing myself, right? And that was something that was a real bottleneck for me because I'm thinking, I'm in month 3 and I'm thinking, man, why haven't I scaled to $150,000 a month, right? In month 3, I've been doing this for, what is that, 12 weeks already? I should already be there. And you're hearing all these folks talk about it on YouTube and all these different podcasts about, hey, you know what? I just jumped in and I was at 50 and then I was at 100 and 300. And it's easy to get caught up in that. But the reality is that, again, everybody has their own race to run, and what you have to do is figure out what are your exact goals for your business, what are the impact that you want to make, and align it to that. And so once I started operating outside of the noise, like eliminating those distractions and focusing on the things that I needed to do in order to drive the impact that I wanted and what I wanted my business to be about, that's when things started to take off and things started to improve. And so I was talking about this with someone earlier in the group, and it's very easy to get caught up in that stuff. But again, you have to figure out what your business is about, get that clarity. Once you get that clarity is going to guide you to the changes and the iterations that you need to make in order to be successful. And so that's where I'm at right now.
Yeah, great points, man. Sometimes it's not even a bottleneck. It's just our expectations. We think that success nowadays happens overnight. We expect to be making 150K a month within 3 months. I mean, is that ridiculous or what? But that's the expectation people have, right? I'm just gonna go online. I'm gonna start my coaching, and I'm gonna be making 10K a month within my first month, no problem. And then when it doesn't happen, well, oh shit. We give up. It's a bottleneck. It's not a bottleneck. It's part of the process. Your expectations are completely skewed. It doesn't make any sense. Whether it's 2025 or 1985, building a business takes time. It's a process, and it takes years, not months. It takes years. Yes, we have more tools available. Yes, we have AI. Yes, we have technology. Yes, we have online. Yes, we have a lot more outreach. But the fact of the matter is that building a business is not easy, and it takes time, and our expectations are completely off nowadays. For me, I'm in the Airbnb space. I'm in year 5 now, going into year 6, and I'm just now starting to, have the engines, rolling at full steam after year 5. The restaurant business took me a couple of years before I really started going, but my personal issues got in the way, and we ended up losing the business. But again, in any niche that you're in, there's a process. It takes time, and people's expectations are just completely off.
Absolutely.
It's funny. I kind of taken all those ideas, the website, the ridiculous expectations. I'm a data guy, so you don't get to do global risk management if you don't know how to collect and correlate data and how to extrapolate information from that data. You look at the Instagrams and the TikToks or whatnot, and the number of people who are claiming to be millionaires from their TikTok stuff. I'm not saying that there's not any, because clearly there are, but that data don't data, right? Because on Instagram there's 100,000 new millionaires, but the data of actual millionaires in the US hasn't changed. So wait a second. Like if you got that 7-figure, 8-figure income coming in, the IRS wants to have a word with you because you're not counted in the country's data. So we gotta kind of forget about that a little bit, and to kind of tie it into, Chris brought up Hormozi, and he brought up a really good concept. And one thing that really strikes me about Alex is that he is so super intelligent, right? And maybe my personal bias is about what a person looks like and what they are. I mean, he looks like just like a, no offense, Rob, looks like just a gym guy with the long hair, and right. but he's actually kind of a soft-spoken guy. Like he looks like he would be a loudmouth, right? Just this whole look. But he's like a soft-spoken guy and super intelligent. And he was saying that. I brought up the Instagram millionaires because social media is kind of self-correcting right now. And he was saying this idea of what do you call it? He called it social media is now turned into interest media. Before, and when I say before, I mean like maybe 2 years ago, you had to cast this really, really huge, wide net, right? Which is why you have all these people on social media saying, I have to have, 1 million followers and this, that, and the other. And so they're out there getting all these followers because they feel like they have to have the reach in order to find their niche. But AI is so strong now that you don't need to do that. And the example he used is, get over this. I'm going to have 1 million views on my viral video, right? If your target market is fishermen, right? Well, understand right now that there's not 1 million of them out there. There just isn't. So if that's who your market is, go after the 50,000 of them that exist. And AI is so targeted now that you don't have to cast this ridiculous wide net and do what we call, mixed content, right? Where you're trying to say all kinds of things that your target market doesn't care about. If you want to attract fishermen, talk about fishermen stuff, and the AI will do its job and it'll get your message to them. And so, websites, depending on what kind of business you're in, if you're like Rob mentioned, the real estate guy in Costa Rica, well, he's in a service business. He doesn't need to have a website really. He needs to be speed to lead. You click on a button, say, I'm gonna, I want to talk to you, and I call you within 5 minutes. Boom, that's speed to lead. It doesn't need a website. It doesn't need people going to a website to look for a phone number. We're not in the 1990s anymore. Come on now. The phone numbers, like, boom, it's instant gratification. And now, Luther, with your kind of business, I mean, you probably have to have a website, and probably has to be more than what Berkshire Hathaway's is, right? You're not just posting links to their annual reports. People are buying products, so you're probably going to have a website that services them and looks nice. And I guess is all like a long way of saying we're not all the same in our businesses.
Yeah.
We become the society kind of like where we're looking for quick answers. Rob built his thing this way, I should go do that. Well, no, Rob built his thing that way.
Yeah.
You got to go build your thing your way. Your market might be different. Your customer needs might be different. Their expectations might be different. And I think if we just bring a little bit more transparency to what we're doing, and don't let the hype be the bottleneck, right?
Okay.
Have some transparency. If your cost is this much, Rob said earlier, people want value. They don't want low prices. They want value. They want good value. And I think the low prices, because people are not stupid. I mean, they know that things cost. They know that there's a cost to manufacturing things or creating things. So they know that. So now we're thinking we lower our costs, and people are like, oh, it's the lowest cost, I got to go get that. No, what they're really thinking is, okay, I know it costs a lot of money to make that item. How the hell is Rob selling that for so cheap? It must be a cheap item. Okay, well, I'm not going to go with the cheap. And nobody ever goes with the cheapest.
Yes.
They usually go with the middle. They knock off the most expensive, they knock off the cheapest, and they go with the middle. So
right.
yeah, I think our expectations, and based on what we're seeing out there, I think that becomes a lot of our bottlenecks. And I'll answer the question for myself, because I haven't answered it yet. Is I think I'm the bottleneck in all of my businesses. I'm the bottleneck, and not from the cost part of the mindset part. I think I've kind of gotten past that. I'm the bottleneck because I have about 1 million ideas in about a 5-minute period. I wake up with more ideas than most people have in a year. And if I didn't have my partner Shannon kind of guiding that, and knowing how to when it's time to slap me because I'm being ridiculous, I get in the way. Rob's laughing because Rob knows Shannon, right? Rob knows I'm not lying. But it's even as a corporate exec and leading a team, if I didn't have, I hired people that spoke Brennan, right? That had the high enough tolerance to sit in a room with me and let me talk about 1,000 miles an hour, to grab the 3 or 4 important points out of what I was saying, go to their desk, come back and say, boom, here's what you were asking for. And once I find out those people and then I hire those people, then I get to get out of the way, because I think I am the one who gets in the way of most of my own progress. Not mentally mindset, just physically. I get in the way. So I look for implementers.
I
People who can-
understand 1,000% what you just said right now, because it's exactly what I'm going through right now. My partner and I, we coach each other every day, just for the simple fact that my brain like thinks about a million things a day, and I'm drained every day, but she's the only one who can coach me and calm me down and like make sure that I structure myself. Just because I'm all over the place. And I was diagnosed not too long ago, for ADHD. And I always knew I had this, this issue. And it's actually one of the reasons why I had to quit the corporate world, just because it wasn't a fit for me. I had too much ideas. A lot of the times I would share things and I would get blocked. And then years later, the idea that I shared was being implemented. So it was little stuff like that where I realized, like, in the end, I need to, you know, be free as a bird and do my own thing. And right now, again, I agree with you 1,000%. I think I'm my own bottleneck too. Like, because I can have this great idea right now and start doing it, and then another idea pops up and I'm going. So right now it's like I need to structure myself and I need to make sure that I put myself in a better position, because I've done my studies. I've really did some research about the market. And right now, the market of the print business right now is evaluated at almost $19 billion in the States. Like, so I did my research, but at the same time, like, how do I structure myself and make sure I tackle the right things at the right time? But yeah.
So funny you said that, because I was going to say, and then you said it right there perfectly, is you're like me, you're a futurist.
Yes.
And the struggles that futurists have is not that we're wrong, we're just so super early.
Yes.
So super early. But the great thing is this: if you can find that person who can corral your thoughts.
Yes.
And this is going to be 3 weeks in a row, Rob, where I'm gonna mention Elon Musk. I'm just not a fan of the guy, but I do appreciate his genius, because he does
Yes.
have some genius. We almost have to have that person who can corral these thoughts and talk about, like, you come into my office and you start talking about steps 1, 2, and 3. I'm kicking you out of my office. Like, I'm already thinking step 560. Like, why are you bringing me down to this step 1, 2? 1, 2, and 3 is obvious. We all know that. I don't want to talk about that. And so it's hard to get us to focus that. But that point you made, though, about you're saying things, you're talking about things, and you move on to something else, and then 5 year later, 10 years later, boom, that thing that you're like, that was my idea, man. What do you guys are so slow. I hear you, brother. I'm right there with you.
Story of my life.
Good stuff. Anybody else would like to add on to that, share, or maybe Brennan, you want to maybe get your question in?
Yeah, we can take a look and see. I think last time when we didn't have Chris, I used his question, but I'm gonna cherry pick here. No, we'll go with mine. I like mine better. We'll tell Chris, hey, look, if you don't show up, you don't get represented. That's how it works here. This is the strategy circle, man. We don't got time for that. Here's the question for the group. So you're in the middle of a challenge, right? Or you're at a plateau. What helps you break through and move forward?
To break through the challenge and move forward?
Yeah, so the challenge is there, or it could either be a challenge where you're stuck with something, or it could be a plateau, which is really kind of that invisible barrier, right? You're stuck there. You don't know why. You're doing all the things that you've always done. How do you break through that?
Yeah. Well, for me, when I'm hit with a challenge, I've said it many times before. Visualization is huge for me. You know, I kind of look past that challenge and see it as already accomplished. You know what I mean? I'm not sure yet how I'm going to accomplish it, how that's going to look like. You know, what the steps are going to look like to get towards that. You know, that or would get through that challenge, but I can see it as already accomplished. I visualize it to the you know, to the extent that I can taste it, I can see it, I can smell it, how it's going to feel for me when I make it through there. So visualization is something that I lean on a lot. Another thing is, you know, I kind of just cut out all the noise and oversimplify things. I don't look at the what ifs. I don't look at, you know, hypotheticals. I kind of just zero in on the task at hand. I don't even waste my energy on anything else that's going around. I just zero in, hyper focus on what I need to do in front of me, and I take it, you know, step by step, and eventually I'll make it through. But I kind of just channel all of my energy, because I find people waste their energy worrying, stressing, you know, about the what ifs and this and that and the other external factors. It drains you, right? So by zeroing in and cutting out all the noise and focusing in on what is in front of you, it helps you kind of move through that challenge to get you to the other side.
I agree with Robert. I think for me it would be the same thing, is take a deep dive. I overthink a lot, and what really helped me lately is not to overthink. It just take a deep dive. Like today, I remember just putting my daughter to bed, and I realized she passed out, and I look and it was 8 o'clock, and I said, "Oh my God!" I remember Robert reached out, and it says the call would be at 8 o'clock. I just clicked. I went on to the call. Like I wasn't even on my laptop yet. I remember when you said my name, Rob, earlier, like I was on my phone, and I went on my office downstairs, transitioned to but it's taking a deep dive. It's like you said, visualizing it, not focusing on the outside noise. And the reason why is because I realize every time that we tend to think about the what ifs, we start going into the negativity, and that negativity brings us to anxiety, and that is something we don't need, right? Like at this point right now, I think it's visualizing it, taking a deep dive, just go for it. And the rest is history, right? You don't need to overthink it. It's been a huge battle for me, and I'm proud that I'm getting there slowly, but yeah, visualizing it. I agree with Robert 1,000%. Yeah.
Absolutely. And it's knowing that, you know, having that faith that it's going to work out, whether or not it works out the way you think it's going to work out. Maybe it won't, maybe it will, but, you know, trust that you will figure it out, that it will work out, that, you know, if you're wrong, you'll figure it out and you'll adjust and you'll pivot, and that's it. Just trust that everything will be all right. You know, we tend to go to the worst case scenario. Oh my God, what if I fail? What if this happens? Okay, what if you fail? What's the worst that's going to happen? The worst is that you're going to learn from it, and you're going to adjust, and you're going to move forward. That's the only thing. That's the worst that's going to happen. You know, we often think that it's the doom and gloom. It's the end of the world if we fail, but you know, failing is not necessarily a bad thing. And you know, going back to, you know, accomplishments that we've we had in the past as well helps a lot. I find, you know, I go back to different situations where I was faced with seemingly like really difficult situations but I made it through. So I kind of go back to those, you know, those situations and realizing that, okay, I faced situations like this in the past and I've made it through. It wasn't easy. It wasn't pretty. It was definitely ugly at times, but I still made it through and I learned from it and I got better from it. I evolved from it. So this is just going to be one of those situations where I'm just going to learn from it. I'm going to evolve from it. I'm going to grow from it. And that's it, you know? So that's kind of how I see that.
Yeah, I love that mentality. Like you said, Coach Rob. Like thinking back about the things that you've been through and made it out of, and so that's kind of typically how I approach challenges. At least with that attitude, like no matter what it is. I mean, I've been through some pretty hard things and pretty gnarly situations, and been able to make it through. And like you said, it wasn't always pretty. It didn't always have the storybook ending like you might see in the theaters, right? But I did make it through, right? I have another opportunity. Another opportunity to be successful. And so that's the mindset I go in. The action for me is always with any goal, any challenge that I take on, I like to set markers. I like to look at data. I'm a big nerd on that. So if there's data available, I want to see the data. I want to see how things are trending. And then it's starting to dig in and take a deep dive into the root cause. Like what's preventing me from reaching that goal, or what's preventing me from being like what's causing the plateau. Let's just say it's revenue from my business. If I've hit a plateau for revenue, I can't figure out what it takes to get to that next step. Let me look at what am I currently doing and versus what is it going to take to get me to the next level that I need to do. Where am I currently? And then I can put in markers to go ahead and, again, whatever action plan I create, I can put that in. That way I can triage it and make sure that it's working over time, versus me just saying, hey, I'm going to take this step, and not knowing how long I've been at it, how long it's going to take me to get to that next marker to be a predictor of whether I'm going the right way or the wrong way. So it's definitely having the right mindset. And then number two is if there's data available, look at the data, try to figure out some trending, and put some markers in place. That way, when you do create that action item, you have something to kind of guide you to see, am I going the right way or am I going the wrong way? And you can efficiently switch things up in the nick of time if it's needed. So that's kind of like my approach in a nutshell.
Great stuff. Great stuff.
You know what's great about what Philip said there is, and as I came up with that question, I started thinking about, I've been doing this for a while, consulting with businesses, and here's the scariest thought. The majority of my clients didn't even know they were in a challenge. So the answers that you guys gave are, good answers and things that you do. But the part that's missing from that is awareness of the challenge in the first place. And what I like about what Philip said is, there was a gut instinct with most of my clients that, if they were going through a problem, that something was off, but they didn't think it was a problem. They thought it was just part of the process. They thought it was just part of the process, because we use that language all the time. It's just part of the process. Just the next thing to work through. And when I showed them how, and they thought they were approaching business from this statistical mindset, mind frame, but they weren't. They were approaching it from a very emotional, personal, it's about me, it's about my grit, it's about what I can do to push this through. And forgetting that business doesn't care about you personally. Success is not personal. Success is structural. You can be the biggest jerk in the world and still have success, or you can be the nicest person in the world and still have success. It has nothing to do with your personality. It has to do with the structure. And so once I was able to pull all that stuff off and use what Philip talked about, the data stuff, because I'm a data nerd myself. And now you no longer have to have an emotional attachment to the word challenge, because it doesn't exist. The only thing you have to look at is, I'm supposed to be doing this number by this date, and I'm not doing it. What number do I need to tweak in order to get to that? And there's no more, like, the word challenge doesn't even come into place unless you are personally and emotionally attached to the fact that it's not working. But if you are able to truly approach your business from a non-emotional standpoint and just say the numbers are the numbers, and they have to do it, they gotta add up, then it kind of, for me, it's not about the challenge anymore. It's about what number do I need to adjust? Because I guess my point is, you no longer have to rely on your ability to power through something. What you need to rely on is, where was the mistake in the math? Where was the mistake in the assumption? And let's address that. And the more clients that I put in that framework and that mindset and build that structure for, they actually started finding a lot of enjoyment, because what was killing them personally was this belief system that their business depended on their personality and their drive to get it done. Yeah, you got to do the work, but this gives you a model to look at and say, oh, well, I got to do the work, but the work I need to do is just to tweak this number versus I got to do 1,000 things. And so I guess my answer to that question would be, how do I break through? I completely separate myself from my business's success. And to, if I want to separate myself from my business's failures, I need to be able to and be willing to separate myself from my business's success, other than the fact that I set my business up to succeed. So it was a creation, and then it's just a matter of tweaking the numbers. Minor adjustments every day will do way more than any power 12-hour thing that you try to get yourself through to make something work. So I look to subtract. I guess that's, if I'm feeling the numbers off, it's like, okay, well, what can I take away? Because I'm obviously doing too much. Subtract, and then find the answer. So those are my tidbits on that one.
Yeah, no, it's definitely important to be aware of our numbers, be aware of our business, really have, kind of like a weekly, postmortems, monthly, like just really sit down and analyze your business. Are you on the right path? Are you not? What can you adjust? You really need to be aware of what you're doing with your business. Are you being successful? Are you being, are you hitting those targets? Are you off track? It's extremely important to know where your business is at, and kind of have like those weekly and monthly kind of breakdowns. Really sit down and analyze your business. A lot of business owners don't know if their business is even profitable or not. They have no idea. They think they're on the right track. But really, if you sit down and really analyze things, you come to realize that you're just spinning your wheels. So it's super, super important to know whether or not your business is on the right track and do a deep dive on your business, regardless of what business you're in. And that again can take some time. If you're able to put the proper strategy and structure in place from the start, have at least the skeleton, the structure of the business in place. You're not going to have everything, perfect off of the bat, but if you have a proper structure to your business, it makes it a lot easier moving forward. You don't want to find yourself 2, 3, 4 years down the line and realizing you've been bleeding money left and right because you don't know your numbers. You don't want that, right? So I've learned that, the hard way in past businesses. And again, now you're almost 6 in the Airbnb business. We're really taking a deep dive into all of our numbers. We know exactly to the penny where all of our money is being spent. And a lot of, business owners just don't know where the money is going. Often they don't know. There's no structure. There's no game plan. There's no objective. There's no year end. There's no month end. It's kind of just going with the wind and, hoping for the best. And all of a sudden you create this bubble, and that bubble bursts, and you wake up with a surprise. So it's definitely important to take a deep dive into your business on a regular and adjust and take the necessary steps. If you messed up, then address it. You don't ignore it, address it, and you make the necessary adjustments and move forward.
Agreed.
Great conversation, gentlemen. Really great stuff. Honestly, it's been a really nice exchange. Does anybody have anything else they'd like to add on to that before we call it a night for today? No? All good? Oh,
Hey, Rob, just wanted
Yes,
to say
sir.
real quick, I know there'll be more stuff coming out tomorrow, but I know we're hours away from the anniversary of Pure Life, so I wanted to acknowledge that since we're on the line. And I did
Appreciate
sign
that,
up
man.
for, of course, I did sign up for the Airbnb. So let me
Awesome.
know if you're seeing stuff. I assume I'll see a link, but if I have any questions before Friday, I will reach out. And yeah, as far as the conversation goes, I think it's just, I think what my takeaway is going to be is what Brendan was saying, right? Like it's the awareness, right? So I think understanding you have a problem, and what I have found is that there doesn't seem to be a willingness sometimes, particularly for business owners, to want to, like it's part of the process, right? Like you have to be able to say, look, what's not working well, this is a problem, right? We need to fix this, especially if it impacts the going concern of the business. So appreciate the dialogue as always. Great time for Tuesday. And maybe the last thing maybe I'll close out with is it was a big Zoom day for me. I was actually on a Zoom with Dr. Steven. So he's doing a 30-day challenge, which is kind of interesting. And I guess the big takeaway is, some guy was doing the math. He was like, hey, man, you got like 2,000 people in the community, but, I only see like 10 people posting and there's 25 people on the call. So I think it remains, I think breaking through to folks remains a challenge, right? So to that, I'll close out with giving Brennan his props for Huru, and I think it's as close to zero as a community might get to in terms of having folks engaged. So in this case, zero is a good thing. So I'll close out with that, but really appreciate the conversation and all you guys are doing in terms of holding these spaces. Much appreciated.
Yeah. Thank
Appreciate
you,
you, brother.
Chris.
Thanks, Chris.
Thank you so much for this beautiful call. I love the experience. I was really amazed by everything that everyone shared. I think it brought a lot of perspective for me. And one thing I would like to close out with is one big thing that attracted me to coaching is the fact that people don't ask questions at all. We live in a world where I always felt that we don't question anything. I actually created a shirt in my printing company called Why, just Why. And I did some research, and even when Brendan was talking about awareness, one of the biggest stats that came out is that self-awareness is only something that only 13% of population have. So it's just to show you that we live in that type of world. And I think that it's a huge point that you brought up, Brennan, is to always ask that questions, right? Sometimes just pause and ask yourself questions. And I think specifically for people that are coaches, like as myself, I tend to auto coach myself a lot. Sometimes I'll go into a spiral, but it's okay. But I think it's extremely important to always take time and just pause and just ask yourself that question.
Most definitely. Are you gonna continue on after you get your PCC and get your MCC as well?
You know what? Yes.
Still a lot
As
more
per my
time, but
mentor, yeah, my mentor is he saw the passion that I have, and for him is just, keep going. So yes, objectively, I would like to go for my MCC, yes.
excellent, excellent. It's definitely after my own heart because I see a lot of coaches who just don't understand the skill of what coaching is and going through a certification and understanding that what we know, what we've been through, what whatever we've done for ourselves is 100% irrelevant to our client's success.
Yes.
It doesn't even matter. Like I've coached, like the idea, like if you even have to be in the, we talk a lot about that, like, oh, well, I'm not going to listen to advice from somebody who hasn't done what I'm trying to do. Well, okay, maybe, but also maybe not, right? Like,
yeah,
I've coached 8 and 9 figure earners, and I'm not an 8 or 9 figure earner, but
yeah,
it's not about that. It's about, do you have the ability to speak that language of the questions that they have that they won't dare utter out loud?
exactly. Yes.
And that's the skill set. So when people say, well, Brennan, how can you coach this if you've never done that? Because I know the questions that they're asking themselves. It's about the people. It's about, we have these layers of language that we all use, and maybe 10% of it is the verbal stuff that we hear, the audible stuff. The rest of it is feeling.
Yes.
And so I'm a huge fan of ICF. I think they do incredible work.
Yes.
And so I'm so happy to hear that you're going through that program, and good luck with your PCC.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much, Brennan. That means a lot. Thank you.
Great stuff, gentlemen. Great conversation. Thank you so much for tonight. Luther, if you want to join, we have a call every single Tuesday, 8 p.m. EST. So if you want to join next week, we'd love to have you. It was a great conversation.
Sure.
And I'm really glad that you jumped on a call tonight, man.
Thank you.
And took that lifeline and stepped out of the comfort zone, so to say. So great stuff, man.
I appreciate
Reach out to me on LinkedIn. I want to connect with you further.
Absolutely. Okay.
Yeah. Good stuff. Thank you so much, everybody. I hope you enjoyed the call, and we'll see each other soon. Take care of yourselves.
Yes, indeed.
Have a good night. Take care.